Hello everybody, welcome to my second video for week 5 presentation. This cycle I chose the foundation question of who am I and what motivates me. And then my follow-up questions for that were, am I willing to apply what I learn? And if so, why? And how can I make an understanding of my heart and my mind more applicable in my life? And then lastly, how can I become a more effective doer in regards to what I learn? And so for my first question, I kind of related it back to who am I? Who are we? Because I think that's a question that everyone has as they're trying to figure out what they like to learn, what they want to go in for a career, and those kinds of things. And so I narrowed it down to we need to figure out a basic understanding of who we are, and that helps us to pattern out the rest of our lives. And this is especially true for gospel truth, because everyone, whether you're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or not, those gospel truths are applicable to you. You're a child of God. You have a loving Heavenly Father. You have a divine plan and purpose for your life that's unique and different from everyone else's. And so as we seek out our individuality and the things that make us different and unique, we can also find out the plan that Heavenly Father wants for us. And that will help us to have more engaging conversations, more of an engaging learning experience as we learn about who we are and what we want to be. Understanding of the heart and mind kind of comes from knowing who we are. Once we know who we are, we can have that understanding in our hearts and in our minds of what we want to do. And that leads us into practicing what we preach, or what we're learning. Practice what you learn. You hear that old saying, and that requires you to have some action. We have to act sincerely in order to do what we're talking about. The Spirit also comes into play there as the ultimate teacher. And when we listen and follow the Spirit, we can understand the revelation that we receive, the promptings we receive, and understand those truths that are coming to us. And when we have this desire to act upon what we receive as revelation or what we come to know, then we can have an increased sense of learning, and that will enhance what we know to be able to help us apply that in our lives. In the book by Elder Bednar, he talks about those 3 levels of truth, where we have the knowledge of something, and then as that grows and we understand it and we apply it in our lives, we begin to have more of an understanding, which finally leads to us being intelligent in something because we're working on using what we know to become better and to improve. So I thought that was really relevant to understanding within our hearts and within our minds. And then lastly, I want to touch on becoming. This was there's a huge emphasis on becoming, I feel like, this week. As we learn and grow, those are not just things that happen. We don't just learn one day or grow one day. It's a continual process. We are always learning and growing, and that involves action, like I said earlier. In James 1:22, it's a great scripture. It talks about being doers and not just hearers of words, and that applies to temporal things as well. As we learn things, we need to apply them, and not just be hearers of what we learn, but to be doers and then take what we know and use it in our lives. And then a great point that was brought up this week in the discussions is that without an application, we don't have progression. If we are taught something over and over again, but we never progress or we never use it, then we aren't really learning it. We aren't really progressing. And so I love that was brought up, and I think that becoming is something that we're always working on. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and kind of got some stuff out of it, and I will see you guys next week.